Hello and welcome back to the Chicago White Sox March to October. And today we are treading into uncharted territory here because it's time for the offseason. We got a lot to do in this episode, and actually I have a couple things I want to say before we even start. First thing is welcome to any potential new viewers of the series, of the channel, whatever. For whatever reason, the last episode of the White Sox March to October, YouTube decided it wanted to show it to way many more people than usual. So we might have picked up some new people along the way from that one. So if you are new, welcome to the series. It's about to get fun because we are taking our first steps to head into season 2, and it'll be the first ever season 2 of a March to October I've ever done. So yeah, we are coming off of a pretty heartbreaking loss in the postseason of season 1. ALDS against the Astros. If you did miss it, we went down 2-0 in the series, but then battled back to tie it at 2, force a game 5, and then we just, for whatever reason, could not get the offense going at home in that series. So we dropped the final game, and for the first time ever in me playing March to October, I did not win the World Series. So that makes it a little bit funny for me that last episode, for whatever reason, got pushed out to so many more people than usual, because for me, that's like my greatest failure in a video on my channel ever, to lose in the playoffs like that. And I know it's been a little while since last episode. It's been over a week at this point. Definitely didn't intend to take that long of a break, but I was, obviously upset after the loss, and then combine that with I'm like legitimately nervous for the off season, so I've kind of been putting it off. But anyway, just to do just a final wrap up of this first season, we can't see on any screen, at least from right here, how the playoffs unfolded, but if I go into the league leaders here, I can kind of tell who won what based on how many wins within the league leaders here from each team. So from what I can gather here, after we lost, the Astros went on to face the Blue Jays, and if you count up the number of wins, the Blue Jays had enough to move on. The Astros had 6 total wins in the postseason, so 3 against us, 3 more against the Blue Jays. That means that series, Astros-Blue Jays, went to a Game 7, but then the Blue Jays ended up going to the World Series. But then counting up their wins and then counting up the Phillies' wins, the Phillies made it to that 11 win mark. That's the magic number for a team that doesn't have to go through the wild card. So the Phillies hit that 11 win mark, meaning they won the World Series over the Blue Jays. Looks like it was a 4-1 series win for the Phillies, and that would honestly be a pretty fun World Series, I feel like, if that were to happen this year, Phillies Blue Jays. But yeah, I guess that kind of wraps up season 1 for as much as we can see of it. And I will say that I have still yet to see like anybody else do a March to October off season. I haven't done another one on my own, so I'm going in pretty much blind. The only info I guess I have on how a March to October off season works is all the way back before the game came out. They were doing those feature premieres. They showed us how the off season was gonna go, and that's it. I haven't even gone back to watch that a second time, so like that's a couple months ago. I've forgotten most of what was said, honestly. So we're going into it blind, and I'm kind of nervous about that, but I'm also kind of excited. We're gonna get to learn together to see how it goes. I have a sheet of notes in front of me that I took to at least give myself a little bit of a plan as to what I'm gonna do, and I think I got a pretty good handle on what I want to do with this team, or at least try to do. But also, with not knowing exactly how the off season is gonna go, I don't know yet if this is gonna be all in one episode. I don't know if it's gonna be broken up into 2. I guess it all just depends on how long everything takes and how in-depth it really is, but I guess there's no reason to continue speculating. We may as well hit advance to off season and see what it has us do. Let's go ahead and do it. What do we got? It's going to take us right to this, and we're just bombarded with information. All right, I do vaguely remember this from those feature premieres. We got the free agency big board where we can put our priorities, and if I remember right, I'm sure it's going to explain it to us, but I don't like reading tutorials. But if I remember right, we kind of put what free agents we want in what priority we want, and then like week by week, I think they gain interest in signing with us up until the point we decide to pull the trigger and sign him. So let's just speed through these tutorials here. This is the central hub. We got our budget, just under $100 million we have to spend. We can't exceed the budget. So I think we should be fine. I mean, $100 million, that should be plenty to do what we need to do. So adding a free agent to the big board, best way to increase their interest. So I was right, the higher priority, the more interest they gain. We also recommend selecting positional and team needs. Okay, so I've already kind of done that on that sheet of notes that I mentioned. Couldn't really go through the whole roster, but just by what I could see on the page before, I could see what the roster was looking like, who our free agents are going to be, who I want to bring back, what positions we'll need to fill. So I guess that's it for the tutorial. So before we do anything here, let's go over, I want to go over my plan here. So what I was curious about, and I guess, well, you know what, let's just look. What does it look like here? Free agents available this offseason will be sorted by multiple lists. We got top 100, recommended, rumors, whatever that means. All right, and what I'm assuming, and I guess we'll see, yeah, so our former players, we don't get any sort of exclusive negotiations. They just all get thrown into the free agent pool, and we got to try and bring them back. I feel like there's a couple guys missing here, though, that were on my list of who's a free agent. So maybe what I was seeing throughout the season, where it was saying free agent after the next season, maybe that wasn't 100% accurate, because I was expecting to see, I mean, if these are sorted by top 100 free agents, maybe they're not perfectly sorted by overall, because number 1 Nola's a 92, number 2 Judge is 95, but I was expecting to see Crochet, I was expecting to see Giolito, and I think they're both 86s like TA, but they're nowhere around here. So let's sort by starting pitchers. Still not seeing Giolito. Keuchel's there. So he's a top 100 free agent, but I'm not even seeing Giolito. He's not even on the list. So maybe we don't have to bring him back. Maybe we don't have as many free agents as I thought. So is there any way to see our roster here? I'm guessing just the depth chart. Yeah, so now it says Giolito. Okay, so I wrote down, I have a list here of all the players that I thought were going to be free agents. And Giolito's on that list before the first slot on this contract screen was 2022. It said he was going to get paid like 8.4 mil, and then 23 was going to be a free agent year. But I guess for whatever reason that wasn't accurate. Maybe there was a contract option or something that it wasn't showing, which would be weird because I thought in real life Tim Anderson had options on his contract, but maybe they were declined somehow and we don't get to influence that. But it looks like, I mean, we got Giolito back. It looks like it auto-handled the arbitration of Kopech, of Cease. Vaughn's back, so it handled his stuff. Adam Engel's back. He was supposed to be a free agent, so that's another hidden option or something that I didn't know was going to be there. It handled Sheets getting renewed. All right, so this is already off to an interesting start here. This is a little bit different than I anticipated, but not in a bad way. This is actually a good thing. I don't see Crochet though. I just realized that. Oh wait, he is here. He's here, and now it's saying it's back to renewable and all that, which if you remember, I highlighted it last season that it was saying he was under contract for year 1, but since he was injured in real life, they had him stuck in AAA. But then it listed every next season as a free agent year. Now it changed that, but it also doesn't say he's under contract. So I don't know exactly how that works, but it looks like we do get to keep Crochet without having to go and spend a ton of money to just bring him back as a straight up free agent. So that's big time. Him, Giolito coming back without us having to do anything, those are two huge things. All right, so my list of players that were supposed to be free agents. For position players, we got Tim Anderson, who we did see was a free agent. Jose Abreu, who must be because he's not on our depth chart here. Adam Engel, who's back, so I guess I can cross him off of my list here because they brought him back too. And then Josh Harrison, who's not here, but I wasn't planning on bringing him back in the first place. But then our other free agents, it would have been Giolito, but he's obviously back. Will Smith, who I don't plan on bringing back because we're going to be adding Crochet, and he's not on the roster. I did see him in the free agent pool. Kyle Crick, who I'm seeing on our roster here, so I guess we got him back. without having to do anything. I wasn't even really planning on bringing him back, but here he is. Dallas Keuchel, who we saw as a free agent, wasn't planning on bringing him back. And then Ronaldo Lopez, who I'm glad is back because I was planning on bringing him back. He had an amazing year as a long reliever, and he's also automatically back. So pretty much, honestly, pretty much everyone except for Tim Anderson that I was already planning on trying to bring back is back, just by default. This is already off to an amazing start. I had a whole priority list and everything. We had Crochet, we can cross him off. Giolito, cross him off. We don't have to worry about Lopez, Engel. The only other guy that I was undecided about was Jose Abreu. I was thinking if we can bring back Abreu for relatively cheap, I would bring him back because he still hits lefties really well. Even after a big year of regression, we could still have him and Gavin Sheets platoon playing first base, assuming Sheets doesn't play as bad as season 1, which with those attributes, he really can't. Like, you can't play that bad again against righties. So yeah, I mean, this legitimately changes pretty much my whole plan. My plan going into this offseason was really only going to be focusing on bringing back the players that I thought were going to be free agents. And then if we did have any money left over after that, I was just going to look to fill out the roster. Because I really don't think we need to add any star players. I still think our team is good as is. And we have so many young players that are going to keep getting better. So I wasn't really going to be focusing on bringing in a whole bunch of big contract star players. But I guess this kind of opens the door for that now that so many things have been taken care of. Alright, well, I guess we can go ahead and priority number 1, no matter what, can be TA. Because, I mean, he is the White Sox. You can't just continue a thing with the White Sox and not bring him back. So he's priority number 1. It says he's asking only 5 years, 13.5. I would be more than okay with just giving him that right now. I was expecting to have to do more, but 5 years takes him till he's 34, probably right around the time he's regressing. So yeah, he is easily gonna be priority number 1. What do we got here? After targeting a player, you'll contact their agent to learn their interest. After advancing the week, then we get to see their interest level. Okay, so we can't see TA's interest in signing with us yet. Okay, and now that he's on our list, we get to see what kind of options we can do with him. So we can't offer him a contract until he's reached 50% interest, and that's about all we need to know. So this is interesting. This offseason is a lot more like a mini game instead of like a normal, I guess, franchise mode offseason. All right, so if he's priority number 1, I also made on my notes list here a list of what I think is going to be our 2023 roster, just to see what openings we would have, who we might want to target in the offseason, what we can bring in. So for 2023, catcher will be Grandal. First base will be some sort of platoon of Sheets, Vaughn, or if we do go back and bring back Abreu. Second base, we could either go another season of Leury, or we could look for a free agent upgrade. Third base, we have Moncada, Anderson. Hopefully we can bring him back at short. That's, main focus right now of the offseason. Eloy, Robert, Pollock in the outfield, and then DH would be, again, either Sheets, Vaughn, or if we bring back Jose. Or I guess if it's just one big free agent pool and we have kind of a lot of money to spend, we could even look to bring in somebody that might be in a little bit better of a spot than Jose in terms of not regressing. Like even a Sano might not be that bad, and he got a lot better this year against lefties. So I mean, we could just try and target him as just a straight up DH. Still under 30, so he could probably keep getting better for another year or two. Even with what he's at right now, though, that should be a solid DH bat. Here's Abreu. Abreu's barely asking anything. Only 2 years, $6 million a year. We definitely could bring that back. He's the second lowest on the top 100 list. So if we bring him back, it would just be to probably now where his fielding's at. He'd probably be some sort of DH platoon. So maybe we do. Maybe we just kind of consider right now Andrew Vaughn to just be our first baseman. Because I know he's still not that great against righties, but with how good he played last year against both sides, I don't want to do the same thing as last year and start him on the bench against righties. I just want him to play every day. So we could just consider him as our first baseman. And then Sheets would be the DH against righties, and then whoever we bring in could be a DH against lefties. And if we're only bringing in somebody to DH against lefties, maybe we don't need to go in and make a big splash, and maybe Abreu would kind of be perfect. Mancini's not the worst option either. He got better against lefties last year. He's a little younger than Jose and actually is asking for less. I don't know, because I also feel like if we bring back Jose, he's just going to have another year of regression like this. So like we get only one more year maximum out of him, which might be all we need anyway. But if we do get Mancini, I guess he is asking for 5 years, so that's a bit more of a commitment, but he's probably not going to regress. And if he does, it's probably not going to be at the same rate that Abreu did. We could also do the Sano thing, and if we are just looking for a DH, I guess it doesn't even have to be a first baseman. It can be just anybody. You could even bring in Zunino. That would not be that bad. He's pretty solid against lefties. Mitch Haniger is pretty good against lefties. All right, but anyway, before we go ahead and set that in stone, we kind of went through 2023 roster outlook for hitting. I didn't talk about the bench. I mean, we do still have Leury, Collins, Engel. So I guess we do then have one bench spot open for, I guess that would just be whoever isn't playing in that whole DH platoon that we're potentially planning. But then pitching wise, we got Lynn, we got Giolito, Kopech, and Cease. And then the fifth spot, I was thinking would either go to Luzardo, who it looks like they kind of have that planning on now. A little bit low on the stamina, but I mean, Kopech went through a whole year with 65 stamina, which is only 3 higher, and he threw over 200 innings and did pretty well. So we could go Luzardo. We could look for a free agent option. I don't really know if we have anybody else who would be like a call-up option, because Matthew Thompson is still not quite even in the 70s yet. I mean, even Reynaldo Lopez could be an option, but he did so well as a long reliever, I kind of want to keep him in that spot. So, I mean, we do have a ton of money to play with, so we could even bring in a really good pitcher, probably, and then keep Luzardo in the bullpen. But speaking of the bullpen, with what we have, we've got Graveman, Christian Javier, Aaron Bummer, Lopez, Liam Hendricks, and then Garrett Crochet, I'm assuming, just because it doesn't list him as a free agent. I just don't know what's going on here, why he doesn't have a salary. But I'm assuming we have Crochet. I'm assuming we have Joe Kelly. And then that should fill up our bullpen. I guess we also have Crick. It also depends on what we do with Luzardo, if he's a starter, if we move him back to the pen. So pretty much what I'm thinking is, besides Tim Anderson, getting him back, we have 2 offensive players I'd like to sign. I'd like to sign an everyday second baseman so that Leury can go back to the bench. And then I'd like to sign that DH platoon that we were talking about for Sheets. And then on the pitching side of things, I think one way or another we should sign one guy, whether it be a starter to then move Luzardo to the pen, or if it's a reliever, if we're going to keep Luzardo as a starter. So yeah, I guess we can go ahead and list that as positional needs. I'll go ahead and list second baseman. I'll go ahead and list probably first baseman. And then, I don't know, I guess we'll see how the offseason plays out, but I guess for now, I'm thinking more reliever and just have Luzardo in our minds as a future starter, because he's still young. He's still going to keep getting better. By the end of this next season, he'll probably be like a 78-ish. Maybe the stamina improves a little bit. And we've got him under team control for, it looks like, 4 more seasons. But yeah, I guess we could just stick with him. We could put off our big pitcher signing until Lance Lynn's a free agent after this year, or whatever's going on with Giolito. I don't know. It doesn't show that little contract symbol next to him, so even though it says he's a free agent after this year, don't really know what's going on. Maybe he's got more hidden options. All right, so then team needs, I guess it would be a right-handed batter. I don't really care if he's contact or power. And then for pitching, what could we need? We have, so if we're moving Luzardo to the rotation, that's going to lose a lefty from the bullpen. We're adding Crochet, and we have Bummer, so we probably want to look for a left-handed pitcher. Bummer and Crochet are both power pitchers, so maybe we want to finesse lefty in the bullpen. Oh, I guess we can only select 2 things. Never mind. I don't know how much this positional and team needs is going to matter, because I'm just going to look through the free agents anyway. What even are our lefty bullpen options? You got Brad Hand. I guess Matt Strahm is also an option. There's not a whole lot of young lefty arms, at least. We could just bring back Will Smith again. I mean, he's not asking for much at all, and that might stem from him barely pitching. I would not be opposed to bringing him back. He's actually definitely a better signing than Brad Hand would have been. Taylor Rogers, we could also, I mean, we have the money to spend, so we could add just another top tier arm. Man, our team might be stupid good. I don't know, man. I'm kind of thinking Taylor Rogers. We have the money to spend. 14 mil is hardly a fraction of the 98, basically 99 that we have. Look at this, I didn't even realize it has our positional rankings along the left. We already have the #1 ranked relief pitching and closing pitching, 8th best starting pitching, best catching. Infield, they don't have us, or they don't give us a lot of credit. I guess that makes sense. There's a lot of good third basemen, and we really don't have a first, second, or shortstop. Left field, I'm surprised between Eloy and Vaughn, it's only 12th. Center field with Robert, right with Pollock and Engel, I'd assume. All right, before I make the decision here, what about second base? I would not be that against Odor. He's always younger than I realize. He's not even 30 yet. They still give him a pretty solid power rating in this. He improved a lot in his contact. He's a good fielder. Why is Odor actually a good option? He had a really good year last year too. What about shortstops? Because shortstops could probably also play second. I mean, we could just try and go crazy here and get Turner. That even would only be a third of our budget. This feels cheesy. I don't know how our team is already so good and we have this much money left over. Maybe I should be a little careful though too, because we don't know when we're gonna have to re-sign people. Well, I guess we do know with Robert, Eloy, Moncada, but then there's Giolito, Kopech, Cease. Maybe we don't want to blow our budget this year when we might need to bring back some big names. There's really no one else at short besides Turner. I don't know, man. Do I just put him there and see what happens? You know what? We might do this because I feel like I'll have the chance. I'll have the chance to go after Odor later. So we might as well just shoot big here to start. I'm gonna put as the #2 priority actually Taylor Rogers. We're just gonna go crazy here, add him. Oh, okay, I forgot about that too. As we add more priorities, the top priority gets less interest gained. Okay, so then what happens if we add a third priority and we say have Turner there? Now we only get 5% for TA instead of 8, only 4 for Rogers instead of 5, and then 3 for Turner. Okay, maybe we remove him and we just do those two, because like Turner, that's a fun option to have. I wouldn't even say it's unrealistic for whatever reason we have so much money. But if there's anybody we can probably spare not getting, it's probably him. So I'm just going to have these 2 players targeted here. We can go ahead and lose 1% interest on TA to gain 5% on a pretty good lefty. And I guess that's all we need to do then for week 1. So we can go ahead and advance. I'm a little nervous to press this just in case, but let's go ahead and advance. Advance to calendar. What's it going to have us do here? We can either advance one day or sim the week. I don't know what's the difference. Let's just advance day by day. Oh, and people are already signing. Chad Green signs with the Cardinals. Some dude signs with the Pirates. That seems about right. Pirates dishing out a 1-year $70,000 contract. Day 2, nobody. So we can't even, now that I hit it, advance to calendar, we can't even hop back in probably until the next week. And oh, we got, all right, so last chance opportunities appear when a targeted free agent on your big board is close to signing an offer from another team. So I'm assuming this means if I do nothing, Taylor Rogers is going to get scooped up by somebody else, or I can offer him a last minute contract to see if he wants to sign with us. He's got a 39% interest. I mean, we may as well see. I'm kind of skeptical to sign anybody before we can make sure we have Tim Anderson back. But we have so much money. Let's just see what it might take here. So this is what they're asking. We can adjust, and I would assume, yeah, adjusting would affect their interest level. I wonder if there's like a certain interest threshold or if it's kind of just like a dice roll. Maybe with 39% interest, they have a random number generator, and if it generates 1 through 39, we get them. And if it generates 40 to 100, we don't get them. Maybe that's just how it goes. So we bump up the years. Every year only increases by 2%. Every increase in money seems to do about 1. So what's the max? If we offered him, if we try to max out his interest, it's only going to get to 56 anyway. So what if we lowball him here? Because like there's other options. Maybe we lowball him, still have somewhat of a percent interest, and if we get lucky with 20%, then not only do we get him, but we also get him for cheaper than we would have gotten otherwise. Might as well do the 14 mil. Keep the interest at 33%. That would only eat into our off-season budget and move it down to 84. So let's see. I guess let's just submit this offer. I mean, I doubt we get it, but I would assume this means we have a 33% chance that he does end up with us. So This is our first test here to see how things work. Submit offer. I mean, I would assume we don't get him. I think it just shows this screen no matter what, so it's not like we got him officially. We got, oh my god, okay. So what's the point of anything? I mean, I guess I didn't lowball him when it comes to money. I guess I still did offer him the yearly salary he wanted, but gave him less years. That really, it must just be a 1 in 3 chance, a 33% chance, and we just got lucky. What an addition. And now we head into week 2. We got 53% interest in Tim Anderson. If we up it and don't adjust the years, we can get that all the way up to 65. I'm guessing we want to play it safe here and not offer that yet. Get that interest up a bit. But alright, dude, dang, we already have one big addition here. Man, our pitching, our bullpen specifically, might be ridiculous. We got Hendricks still way over a 90. We're going to have 3 lefties over an 80, presumably. We got Rogers at an 88. Crochet is currently at an 86, but he's going to probably get to a 90 by the end of the season. And then Bummer at an 81, but he could keep improving. We got Graveman, and then Javier, who I was nasty pitching with, and then Lopez still as a long reliever after the season he had. We might need to only score like 3 runs a game with this pitching staff. You know what I even probably could do is I could sign like a Luis Severino here. A potential 85, 29, so he'd probably get a little better. I could sign him, and then we could have him locked up for a decent amount of years, and then have Luzardo down in AAA progress a little bit, so then when we lose Lance Lynn next year, Luzardo can be moved into that rotation, or even have him in the bullpen. I don't know. I feel like things are about to get confusing. Let's focus on what we know we need, though. I wanna knock out this whole platoon situation first. I kind of think I want to go after Mancini, even over Sano. I know Sano's got the potential, and he's younger. He did have a higher on base and slugging than Mancini had last year. Slugging by a pretty decent amount, too. We'd be paying him about the same, and there is the aspect of Sano having both the advantage of being 2 years younger and having an A potential instead of a C. Maybe I do target Sano. I think I'm going to go ahead and add him. He's gaining 6% interest for some reason, and I don't think there's anything else I need to do, because I still don't want to take away too much interest potential from Anderson. Alright, we'll just advance the week then, see what happens anyway. As long as we get Anderson back, that's like would be the point where if everything else went against us and we don't have anything else go our way, as long as we get Anderson, I can't be too upset. So let's sim these days here. Joey Gallo gets signed. Edwin Diaz gets signed. We have, wow, 69% interest in Sano, or from Sano, up to 60 from Anderson, and we could bump that up to 72, even 75 if we went all 7 years. Oh, and we have this, did I not even notice that before? We have this 1 per offseason guaranteed accept. The free agent must be affordable and 55% interest. And because he's guaranteed, we have to pay above market value. So that would probably be, what is that, 7 years, 16 and a half? That's even more than the max we can offer like this. So in the meantime, I'll keep trying to build his interest. Now that we know we have that guaranteed accept, I'll go ahead and fill this 3rd spot, because I guess we don't need to worry about getting his interest up to 100 as quick as possible. And then we could still add Turner, see what's good with him, what kind of interest we could start out with him. I mean, if we sign someone like him, it's pretty much in my mind right now, it'd be either Trey Turner that we'd sign and he'd play second base, or probably Rougned Odor is the best option as a second baseman. So yeah, it's literally the options right now for second base is to go crazy and see if we can get Trey Turner, getting Rougned Odor, which would probably just be realistic, safe option, I guess. And then on the other end of the spectrum, the radical option would be having Sano start at third, Moncada start at second, and then I guess either just having Sheets be an everyday guy and see what he can do against lefties, or we still get somebody else, like maybe even still get a Mancini. I mean, we could even consider bringing up guys. I'm assuming we have that option at the end of the offseason to like set our opening day roster. So we could bring up like a Romy. I guess he wouldn't be that great, but be a bench spot. You know what else I didn't even think? Because I saw this name. And yeah, I mentioned it earlier in the season, around June or July, that I was curious to see if we would be in control of the first year player draft or what. And obviously I didn't go to a draft and do anything, so we got some auto drafted players, and the first one I see here is this Phil Marks. We also, it looks like this Enrique Enriquez. Diego Cabrera is another one I see, another shortstop. That's really all I can find just on this depth chart screen. I'm sure there's more. I guess I may as well just add Trey Turner and see what his interest level's at. If it's low, then who cares? But if it's high, then, you know, wow. All right, so let's go ahead and advance this week then and see what happens. Muncy signs with the Brewers. He had 48 homers last year. I didn't even realize that. I considered him on the screen, but wasn't really interested. Will Smith signs with the Cardinals. Nola signs with the Tigers, so our division gets a little bit tougher. He was the #1 free agent. Presley signs with the Braves. Sean Manaea to the Dodgers. An agent representing Josh Bell has reached out to us to see if we're interested in signing him. All right, well, I'm assuming whatever we pick here, it's not going to be like he's done and he's signing somewhere else. So if I pick not interested, because I'm really not, I still want to go after Sano before I go after him. So I'm gonna hit not interested because I'm not interested. So we got TA up to 65%, Sano up to 74%. Turner is at 40%. And it's showing what other teams he's talking with. So I guess that means if other teams were trying to sign Anderson, it would show it. So I guess we're kind of safe for now with him. Our offseason budget, though, did go down. And I don't know why. Because we didn't sign anyone else. I mean, we had the Rogers signing that brought us from 98 down to 80 something. Now all of a sudden it's down to 75, but either way, I guess we gotta be a little bit careful just in case we all of a sudden lose all of our budget. Like, I don't want to spend 30 plus mil to sign Turner and then that leaves us without any money to sign TA. TA is still the priority.